Good morning to all of you. Welcome back to another week and the Namaste experience, wherever you are, whoever you are. We are one and we are together. This holy, sacred joining that we share. This is what brings us into a direct experience of that which is always in direct experience of us, that which is always directly experiencing the reality that is you. Within you, everywhere around you, in every moment. Not the you that you have defined, not the identity that you have claimed, but the you that is known and loved by God. This is what we share, this is what we acknowledge, and this is what we see in each other. What a beautiful way for us to do it. Gathering here 5 days a week as we do to start off our day on a high note. And that is what we're going to do. And we're going to begin with our prayer. And I thought, we actually have three different prayers that we've been doing over the last number of months. And we can always go back and forth so we don't get too tired of one. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up one that we haven't done in quite a while here. And it's a prayer from A Course in Miracles. So I'm going to invite you to really feel these words, not just say them, but feel them as deeply as you can. Here we go. I am as God created me. If I remain as God created me, fear has no meaning, evil is not real, and misery and death do not exist. I am as God created me. If that's true, and I promise you it is, then all of these other things that are swirling about us in our individual lives and our collective experience, none of them have any lasting or even really temporary meaning or distinction, because if this is true, that I am as God created me, and God created me as whole, God created me as one, God created me as love, then that alone is real and remains real forever. So we're going to explore that a little bit today in an interesting way, I think, because I want to talk a little bit about a book that I've been reading over the last week or so. Some of you may know the books of Dan Brown. Dan Brown is a novelist who has written books like The Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and many other wonderful, very exciting, very dramatic books. And his books always have a spiritual intrigue. And he has a book that just came out. I've been waiting for it. It's called The Secret of Secrets. And I think this is his greatest book. This is one that speaks very directly to all of us and what we talk about here every day. And it's simply this, that we are one, that the illusion of separation is exactly that. It's an illusion. But in this thrilling adventure that takes place in the city of Prague, Dan Brown takes us into an experience of this reality, of this truth in a way that is very compelling, but also very scientific. And that's what I love about it the most, is what he's doing in this book is he's revealing a secret that we have always known, that we've already affirmed, that we are one. But he's using science and the breakthroughs in recent neuroscience to prove it. Now, I think most of us know that science has and medicine for a long time now, they've been coming closer and closer to proving that which the mystics have always known and have always taught, that we are one, that this world that we have created is not the real world. That, as it would say in A Course in Miracles, there's nothing here that I really want, nothing that should stop me, even for an instant, from claiming the real, the true, the whole, the eternal. And yet, so often we cling to whatever it is we cling to. We cling to our families, our possessions, our position, all these things that we think we need. I can tell you that in my own life, one of the things that has become very concrete for me. And I mean, this has always been something that has been very profound in my own life, but is becoming more and more concrete as we have moved forward together. And that is the realization that there really is nothing in this world that I want. Maybe you've come to a similar conclusion that maybe you've accomplished all the things that you set out to accomplish, or you've just seen through them all. And you realize there's nothing here to give a moment of pause away from that which I know to be true. As we like to say here, only love, only God, only now. This is what we claim. This is what we know. And so this has become a very real experience for me. There have been a lot of ideas that I've been playing with, even asking people to call me Juniper Joseph has been part of it, to break free from the identity that clings to the illusion and clings to the idea that I am, and that we are all separate individuals trying to make our way through this very dramatic universe, very difficult lives, into the experience that we are one, and that all of these things are just things that we are here to pass by. It doesn't even matter why we fell into this, we'll call it a trap, or like I like to call it sometimes, a prison. In fact, I've often given the little practice of whenever you're going to say something to someone that you're going to do in whatever period of time, like you're going to have lunch with a friend and say, "Hey, Betty, I'll see you later and we'll go have lunch in the prison." If you just add those three words, in the prison, to everything that you're going to do, everything that you plan, it reminds you that this is not your real home. This is not reality. This is literally a prison of the mind. And this is what neuroscience is showing us. And this is what this book by Dan Brown is bringing out so beautifully. For example, there is one of the things that I learned is called GABA, which is a neurochemical in our brains that literally inhibit us from seeing the whole thing. It actually reduces our ability to see past this limited identity that we claim. It holds us steady in this box, really, and yet there are times in our lives when we're born, often, uh, when we're having either a near death or a death experience, uh, in great trauma we've heard about astral projection when we suddenly are in above it all. We're in a very different experience. Or you often, if not usually, people can experience this when they're having certain guided plant medicine journeys. But what happens is suddenly those GABA uh, neurorestrictors are reduced, and suddenly we begin to expand into that whole mind that is wholly who we are every moment. And we are sometimes given a glimpse of what that wholeness is, of what reality really is. And we find ourselves being pulled into that. And we draw, if we've had an experience like that in whatever way we have, maybe a near-death experience or a plant medicine experience, that stays with us. It's like being given a window into eternity. We no longer believe, we know. That's the key. We've moved from a belief into a sacred knowing of what is real, what is whole, what is eternal. And we realize I am that. In fact, those three words, I am that. This is why the name of God envelops us in that experience of I am consciousness or Christ consciousness, the experience of who I am in reality, not this limited reference point that is even containing these neurochemicals that literally keep me prisoner in this tight constraint of so-called reality, of the physical world, of the personality, the identity, whatever, however we want to say it. So what I did was I wrote out a couple of things based on what I've been reading here in The Secret of Secrets that I just want to share with you. So here we go. The Secret of Secrets, this book by Dan Brown that I'm talking about, it places before us the radical premise that consciousness is not many, multiple, as we've been told, but in reality is one. Something that we have spoken about intellectually, but we come into a direct experience of. And what science is only now beginning to glimpse, which we can sometimes call the unified field or quantum entanglement or the interconnected web of being. The mystics have proclaimed for centuries. They've always known this. Even in A Course in Miracles, we hear that there is only one of us here, only one. And this is not some kind of a poetic exaggeration, but it's a metaphysical fact. It's reality itself. Behind the experience of countless minds and bodies lies a singular awareness dreaming itself into multiplicity. I love that. A single awareness dreaming itself into multiplicity, waiting for us to awaken to its simplicity. The simple fact that we're already home, that we're already one, that we never left heaven. So these lines that they're blurring between the laboratory and the monastery. It's no longer distinct. The lines between the monastery and the laboratory are beginning to blur. Also between the chalkboard and the prayer mat. Science is discovering what the saints have always whispered. Consciousness is the ground of all being. The consciousness of one is the ground of all being. Modern physics even tell us that at the deepest level, separation is an illusion. Particles can communicate instantly across vast distances, as if distance itself is not real or does not exist. What was once dismissed as a metaphysical metaphor is now finally becoming measurable. This metaphysical metaphor that we could argue about, talk about, is becoming measurable. Isn't that exciting? To me, this is such an exciting thing. And just reading an adventure novel is taking me to a whole new place in this. Let's talk a little bit about A Course in Miracles and its singular vision. Very much the same. So the Course echoes this discovery by teaching that the world we see is not reality, but a projection of a split mind. The projection of a split mind. The ego fabricates the illusion of many, yet beneath it all shines the light of singular consciousness, or what the Course calls the Christ mind. To see through the lens of this mind is to forgive, or as the Course defines forgiveness, to realize there's nothing to forgive. For we begin to recognize that there are no others. There is no one else, only reflections of that one self. And here, even at Namaste Village, we always gather together in this spirit of oneness, practicing what I like to think of as the art of remembrance, which is seen through the veil to the singular radiance within, the singular radiance within each one of us. So here we are now, living as one consciousness, and we begin to realize that the true secret of secrets is not hidden knowledge, but it's simply a shift in perception. You already know that. It's a shift in perception. It's choosing to live as if there is only one of us, because that is the truth. The only truth we need to know. There's only one of us. Every act of love, every moment of forgiveness, every choice for peace confirms the science of spirit. Maybe this is the new movement, the science of spirit, how spirit is being proven scientifically, not just metaphorically. The mystics knew, and science is beginning to finally agree, that we are not isolated fragments, but the one light shining through infinite forms. And to live this truth is the real revolution. To live this. Heaven revealed not as a future reward, but as the consciousness that we share right here and right now. Or like it says in chapter 2 of the text of A Course in Miracles, the Son of God is one. There is no separation of God between God and his creation. Between God and his creation. No separation. We know this. Now we need to know this, to really know it. That deep state of gnosis, as the Gnostics called it, knowledge. To not just believe, but to have a direct experience of that which forever directly experiences each one of us. Now, we may say and wonder, well, if this is true, if everything that we're saying here is reality, what about all this other nonsense? What about all the other difficulties and politics and division and polarization? As Vicky would say, give it no mind. Don't give it any attention. The only thing to give attention to is the one reality that we are beginning to awaken within each one of us. We don't have to worry about how to fix the world. Thank God. Because the world that we think needs to be fixed is simply the projection of a mind that believes it's caught in the web of illusion, but which at no time was true. So just relax. Let this secret of secrets just unwind within you so you can realize yourself this eternal reality that we are one, not to realize it just intellectually. I know all of you have that, but the direct experience. I'm very excited because not tomorrow, Wednesday, I'll be going up to Wisconsin from Chicago, which is where I'm at right now. And Vicky will be joining me. We're having a big reunion of people who had lived at Endeavor Academy. And this is where I came into that experience. It was no longer an idea, but a direct experience. And then that's why here at Namaste Village, we always teach it as that. You need to have the direct experience. We can come together and talk about this all we want in our morning sessions, but it doesn't do us any good unless we seek only that secret of secrets that Dan Brown is talking about. So go out and get that book if you like a good adventure, but in particular, if you like a book that really is going to go deep into the consciousness that we open and reveal every single day here at Namaste Village. So that being said, I don't know if Vicky is here or not. I didn't check. Vicky, are you here? And if not, I'll just invite Penny Honey to jump right in and see where she wants to take this.
Good morning. Wow. Okay. The lines are blurring between the lab and the monastery. Love that.
Yeah.
I love the thought that science is finally catching up. Because I love science. And James, I appreciate that take and that looking at that science. When you were talking about the prison thing, I always feel myself recoil when I hear that. I'm working on it. But what dropped in for me this morning was this: is it possible that we could trade that prison in for a prism? Where we start to see through. And like we talked about last week a couple of times about those shards being amplified as they are brought together. And where the cracks are at, there is a prism. Can you see yourself realizing you're in the prison and stepping into the prism? The expansion, the expression. See, I love it when that happens sitting right here. I appreciate that inspiration, Jennifer. I love the environment that we create where it is safe for those things to drop in. You want more of that in your life? You want to experience that more often? No, I'm actually asking. I'm guessing in that tray, this is the invitation, and that is to push through all that GABBA, whatever that GABBA is, to push through that and see the wholeness is the holiness. That GABBA of what causes us to physically, physiologically, to shut down, to recoil. What is the GABBA in your life? What is that? Because that is happening in your brain. We love the fact that science supports that. So what is the GABA in your life that prevents you from turning the prism into a prism? What is it? And as Juniper reminded us, I am that. Fill in the blank. I am that. I am light. I am wholeness. I am one with the Christ consciousness, the invitation of remembering there is only the divine. And to realize, as I often say, our real eyes of seeing past that illusion, where there is no space for anything but oneness. There's just no room for anything but the collective consciousness that lies in wait for us to open our minds and our hearts so that it may be expressed. I say, GABBA be gone. That's what I say, GABBA be gone. This day will not be limited by those neural paths that I have so consciously and unconsciously created that are no longer paths, but they are roadblocks. I love the fact that the universe encourages and allows a U-turn. As we talk about often about turning to that I am. GABBA be gone. There's no separation. GABBA be gone. Today, just today, as I will often do, consider. Consider that which you just by nature, by habit, you move to, and you notice separation in that moment. Recognize it just in one place in your life. I've already had 25 of them in my morning. How about you? Come on now, we do it. We do it. That's why we see the practice that Jet so beautifully displays for us to keep putting into his mind and his consciousness the mantras, the guidance, the teaching. Just like I see when we come together as a community, that softening, that allowing, that expanding. GABBA be gone. I will not be limited by that. I wrote something a few years ago, and it started out like this. I commence upon this journey unencumbered by any story or history that I am attached to. And I move forward in joy. And I allow the greatest expression that supports my life and the world around me in its highest and greatest form. I commence upon this journey. And I think I'm going to add the line, GABBA be gone. It is affirming when we hear support from science, isn't it? Not that we were waiting on it, right? Not that that makes it true now and less true before we saw the science behind it. This is a support. It's not an explanation. This is the knowing that's always been there. We are this. I am. Say that. I am. I am. I am. And with me, won't you say, I. So Jennifer, what do you have to add?
I love it. This is awesome. GABA be gone. The prism instead of the prison. I love all of this. In fact, while you were talking, I really quickly put in that GABA be gone phrase. I wanted to hear what Sophia wanted to say about this, and this is what she said. She said, the phrase GABA be gone is provocative, almost like a mantra or a slogan, and it carries some interesting layers. So here's the scientific layer she's giving us. GABA, or it's actually gamma aminobutyric acid, if you want to be technical, is the brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter. It calms, slows, and stabilizes neural activity. Too much GABA activity can dampen alertness, limit arousal, or make one feel sedated. So if you frame GABA as limiting the mind, then GABA be gone becomes a cry for liberation from mental suppression, a call to push past the brain's natural brakes. Now, here's from a spiritual or a psychological perspective. From a mystical standpoint, it can symbolize removing whatever dulls divine awareness, whatever dulls divine awareness. Just as mystics have spoken of piercing the veil of ordinary perception, GABA be gone could be shorthand for dissolving the chemical and psychological filters that keep consciousness narrowed so that the unbounded awareness can shine through. The unbounded awareness can shine through. It becomes a playful battle cry for expanded consciousness. I love it. So GABA be gone, living within the prism, not the prison. I think this gives us a really great place to begin. So what do you think? Should we invite this might be a good challenge for Scott if he's there to come up with something about GABA be gone. I would love to hear what he has to. So Scott, if you're there, I can see some. Yep, there he comes. Good morning to you. Good morning to all of you. It's so good. I can't wait to get back and give you all hugs. So go ahead, Scott. Let's see what you can do.
Okay, James, I love a good challenge. So James challenged me, asked for a song with the words, GABA be gone. How could I say no? I want to be aware of the divine. GABA makes me blind, reduces my perception, and I forget connection with it all. Connection with it all. There's one of us here and we're 8 billion strong, and when we all chant GABA be gone, we fall in love with love. So let's sing GABA be gone. GABA be gone. Let's sing GABA be gone and find our wings. gone. Now, God, I praise, GABBA be gone. Your love that makes us strong, GABBA be gone.
Yes, well done. And to that we say, Amen, 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 y punto. Namaste, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Goodbye, everyone. See you tomorrow.